Welcome back to Fourth and Troll Fantasy. Let's close out things here, Wes, with the biggest questions for fantasy football in 2025. Things that could absolutely change the draft, that could be complete 360s on or 180s. 360s would just mean you're turning around, but complete 180s on the season for you. My biggest question, Wes, and we'll take a few minutes each here to talk about this and discuss it. What happens to Puka Nacua if Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp retire? What happens if this is it? What happens if this is the last ride? What happens if next season we're coming in and it's a new quarterback and it's no Cooper Kupp and it's just Puka there? What happens to Puka? Because right now, it's hard for me to not imagine he's a surefire top 7 fantasy football player that's selected in the draft next year. So what happens to Puka if these two guys hang it up?
I was imagining actually before we started recording, just in what I wanted to predict as the first 10 players after 2024, and I listed Puka as the 6th player just in my head, because of what he did. And yeah, he's injury prone, but you got to take a shot, and that's with Stafford. And that's with Cooper Kupp on that team. Now, there were some trade rumors earlier at the trade deadline point if they were going to ship out Cooper Kupp because of his age, and it kind of felt like they did because he just disappeared in the fantasy playoffs. But I do wonder if it's not Stafford. Are we going to have a veteran there, or are they going to try to go for a rookie quarterback? Very, very interesting. They're certainly not going to go with Garoppolo if he was to stay with the Rams. That's absurd. So I think the bigger question for me is Matthew Stafford, because if Stafford is not there, if he decides to retire, he might stick around. They made with the playoffs, here we are at the end of December when we're recording this. So we don't know exactly how the Rams do in the postseason, but they made playoffs and they are, I assume they make playoffs. The way that the Rams team looks, I can see Stafford saying, we can do this one more time. We can try. And I can imagine that. If he retires, man, if it's the rookie quarterback, I am worried. I'll put it that way. I'm worried if it's a rookie quarterback. That was our whole thing with Justin Jefferson, because we thought it was going to be J.J. McCarthy. We say he's probably going to be top 10. And then McCarthy was hurt, and Sam Darnold was like, all right, J.J.'s top 10. New wide receiver, too. Yeah, he did well. So I'm not worried about where Kupp goes. I'm worried about Stafford. It's a big question, though. I didn't even think about if Stafford's really going to hang it up after this year.
Yeah, definitely there's a lot of question marks there. Let us know what you think in the comments. Wes, you've got your biggest question, and then we'll close things out.
One of them. I got a lot of questions, but I'm going to go with one that I think I got burned by the most, which is, can Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison figure this out? We had so many expectations for Marvin Harrison Jr. We both thought Kyler Murray was going to be a top 5 quarterback, and he was so inconsistent. I really want to know what you think. Are they going to figure this out with Marvin Harrison? Because we all just kind of chalked him up to Hall of Fame status. Was going to be great. Everyone figured it was going to be top 10, top 15 at worst. Dude was not that great. He had a couple of solid games to start the year, and that was it. Do you think they figure it out? What do you need to see from the Cardinals offseason to believe in Marvin Harrison to draft him and Kyler?
Yeah, it's going to be really tough for me to draft either of them going into next year. I think I remember after week 2, we were on the pod and I said, there's a real chance we might have just watched his best game of the season. Like I don't know. I don't know if that's the case or not, but there's a real chance that it is. And it was like, it was not the experience we wanted. I've got some quarrels with the offensive coordinator, with some of the play calling. I mean, I think my question actually comes back to Kyler, if I'm being honest. I don't know if Kyler's actually good. I actually just don't know. I was so convinced and ready that it was like the last time he had a 1,000-yard receiver, he was like a top, whatever it was, like a top 5 fantasy, top 6 fantasy quarterback. Like, he surely will have that again this year, right? And I think there's a piece of it that's like, well, maybe it was just that he had like DeAndre Hopkins and as a wide receiver 1. Like, maybe that was the case.
Proven elite wide receiver, not a rookie with high potential.
I think they need them to figure it out. The team needs them to figure it out, because if they don't, I mean, where do you even go here? They were, I mean, like with like 6 weeks left in the season, they were leading the division, and then they were eliminated from playoffs with 2 weeks left to play. So it's
almost
this
like
is not good stuff. Like
you have to draft them because they have to figure it out. Otherwise, it's Kyler is
maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
Arizona.
It's tough. It's tough.
Interesting question.
I don't know what's going to happen, but it's definitely worth thinking about. We definitely had high expectations for sure, and they were not met.